Joshua Adeyemi is the one to do the honors, and Northeast Adams 13, Guilherme Nakamura. He did not start early this week against Rogers, but he's in the initial 11 this evening. Number 14 is Eduardo Matos, and 22 is Cash Dunkel. For Newman, they will go as follows.
Is number 12, Francisco Pinochet. Elsewhere within the lineup, number 3 is Ibran Villalobos. Number 5 is Greg Henry. 6 is Jonathan Garcia. 7, Eduardo dos Santos. 8, Cameron Schroeder. 9 is Gabriel Diaz-Giuliani. 10 is Gustavo Diaz-Giuliani. 11, and this name is going to be familiar for you if you're an NSU-wide, and that is Kei Nagakura, former member of the River Rock program. 14 is Tomas Malone, and 19 is Yosuke Ono. This team led by Victor Dominguez, and quite the turnaround the Jets have had in men's soccer. This is a group that...
And for Newman, I'm sure they're trying to build a case of their own to play past the Great American Tournament. It's a smaller bracket than the MIAA Women's Soccer Tournament, as women's soccer will have their postseason begin tomorrow in the 8th seed. They'll be taking on the regular season champs in Pittsburgh State. But overall, I would much rather be on that side of the bracket than the side that features Central Missouri. Oh, my goodness, quite the collision between Van Dusen and a Newman Jet. Much rather be on the side of the bracket with Pitt. A couple years ago when we went to Claremore, 2 of our guys got sent off due to red cards. And talking to the captain, Carl Mertz, this week, he was very clear in telling me that these matches this week are must win. NSU gets it just outside the box. That's Carter Adams trying to feed Adeyemi. NSU's in a bit of a bind now near side. Edge of the boundary. Far side. Into the box they want to go. Kick inside instead in second halves in matches in 2025. This kick goes inside the box. They have a chance, and no, goes the wrong direction. Newman's still alive. Adams defending. Deep in the field. Another kick sit high in the air. NSU's got to make sure these red jerseys don't break free. McCulloch lands in front, and that'll be 3-2 final in Wichita this past Thursday night. All 5 goals in the match were scored in the second half. It was goalless at intermission. Played us in late September. They beat us 4-2. That was their most recent multi-score victory, and that is their only multi-score win inside of conference play. This team has had to survive to claim some wins, at least if you go off the tail. And here's the kick. Bounces off of a Newman Jet. Stopped it, but Ouachita leads on Southern Nazarene right now. I don't know how the math's on that one. The Jets. The kick. And this rolls back out to the midline. Newman's playing keep away. A couple weeks. Didn't get a good chance to see much of the football crowd today. Kind of hectic atmosphere with it being senior day. Again, 14 seniors were recognized as part of football. 2 with cheer. A little bit of hand fight. You can definitely tell that this grass is ready for the offseason. Winners this year. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. NSU still with a chance. Roller. And now the boots. That's the line. Northeastern raking free, moving right to left on your screen. And Newman with the rejection. Top of the 18. "16 minutes to go. Once we get to intermission, we'll have the complete statistical breakdown of all that's gone on tonight. We'll also take a look at what's going on in Bethany. This is sent down in the direction of Adeyemi, and they got to keep it away from him. NSU, if they can flip the field, this could be deadly for them. The Jet defense, that is. And now we've got exactly 15 minutes to go in the half. Men's tennis. They made it out again tonight. I'm sure they were at the football game. It's a loaded day, and what they do, they spend it supporting their fellow student athletes. I hope when men's tennis events come up, all win for Northeastern State. They haven't invaded this deep into enemy territory a lot tonight. They want to make good use of it. We're not even to the 7 o'clock hour. We're about halfway there. Had some bright orange rays shining in our face pre-match, the River Rock Spotlight. I also know he appeared on the River Rock Sports Nest podcast earlier this year. And now the boot. Left-footed kick into the box. Newman looking to pick up. We'll take it right back into our opening seasons with wrestling, volleyball. I think wrestling especially is going to be a big hit here. Those coaching positions actively open. And looking forward to seeing who we get to lead the charge for Eddie. Just wild the amount of D2s over D1s we've seen so far in basketball. But still inspiring result. They will play the same two teams as us, but we will not face off until later in the MIAA schedule. And a leaping tip out of the colic. And near side, Jets still with life on this possession, maybe. Not able to find contact from a Jet before NSU takes it back, and now they force it to the middle third. Jets return fire. And now they jockey for position. Well, we get a whistle. This official clearly getting frustrated with the lobbying of some of these NSU players as Newman moves the tempo up. NSU recovers. This kick is sent deep. It's a foot race. And now Newman, what can they do to keep this ball away from that half of the pitch? Edson up in the air for Adams. If we can get Adams a lot of touches, I feel like this match a great chance to go our way. We get a whistle, and it's going back. Northeastern State receiving votes category. In fact, one of the top teams receiving votes. They look to knock on the door, but when you look at national postseason chances, does not help to be under 500 in conference play. If you miss your league postseason, it's going to be very difficult to envision playing past today. And it's still certainly up for grabs. Northeastern State trying to battle to be in the top four with Southern Nazarene hosting Ouachita tonight. We'll look at that score at the half. But also a win here this evening might do you some good building momentum for the bracket. Going after Newman's spot. It was this very Jets team that made NSU the odd one out. Here we go. McCulloch, and he narrowly wins the race. Chance. What do you got? Keeper left his post. Near side the kick. Up in the air, deflected out. Now another kick. Here it is, the boomer. Sit high in the air, a lot of hang time. This will bounce out of play. Jets get it in front. Want to sleep on it all once we get to the final period. Remember, they poured 2 quick goals on a top 5 Fort Hays State team last Thursday. But defensive miscues. This is a Newman team that's allowed 20 second-half goals this year. Defensive miscues prove to be their undoing. If you're an NSU fan, you hope that'll be the same case in this Saturday evening matchup under the lights at Deloach one final time in 2025. Countdown taking place, less than 10 seconds. And we get the opening kick. The Jets will take it, moving right to left on your screen in the red shirts. NSU green and white with silver numbers and letters. They move left to right. NSU, they only possessed the ball for about 32% of the opening half. They only spent a fraction of it. Facing off against various opponents from varying levels of play. NSU trying to muster a challenge. They're playing for their season, perhaps, as a Southern Nazarene turnaround and victory over Ouachita Baptist paired with a loss for the Jets would likely spell the end of their own postseason bracket. That was the case last year, as it really felt like it was the most trying season. Tonight. This is tipped, and NSU may be an opportunity, but it goes out from left to right, far to near. I mean, this is a better, more competitive, more fun league. Another beautiful kick from McCulloch. NSU's got a chance here if they can get the quick recovery. Look out. And Northeastern, they were so close. Didn't keep it. Yet to have a make through almost 10 minutes of the second. Carter Adams, perhaps the biggest close call of the night. It's been a full day of action for them as we had the football game GLVC opponent in 2025. And they finish with a 3-1 record. Their lone loss, by the way, was all the way back in week 1 off of a walk-off. Draw our guys off sides and making some strategic calls like that regarding timing. Skying up in the air as their keeper. A great Chadron State beating Western Colorado is not good for us. Now you're banking on Western Colorado losing next week to maybe be a domino to fall out of that top 8 and those 4 at-larges. Angelo State also playing Western Oregon. Probably need Angelo to win that one. Pitt State beating Central Missouri doesn't help. Not been especially great at football this year. Their only major national contenders, Harding. You take that Harding football squad and you do pretty much the opposite of that, and you've got Harding men's soccer folks. Again, going back to the fan support. We've had great push from these crowds, these loud crowds. We've had I'd love to hear the chirp of an official's whistle. I guess this is the match for you. As now a high kick. That's the match that I think both fan bases have their eyes on, but especially Northeastern State. A loss for Southern Naz confirms the field of 4 for the Great American MIAA Men's Soccer Tournament. As we trend towards halfway point of the 7 o'clock hour in Tahlequah, this match will be done before we hit 8. 75th minute, it's 1-0 Ouachita. They scored in the opening half out on the road at West Harmon Field in Bethany. What a upset, if you want to call it that. These two very evenly matched. Newman and Northeastern State. The Riverhawks in the air from Adams, and then the kick. Right-footed boot. Leaping up, making the catch. Francisco, and then the deep kick. And this goes down. Uh-oh, look out. Jets pulled the trigger. This kick swings right. They'll need more contact, and they have a chance. Disrupted. Looking at the numbers across this matchup. Northeastern State. The kick. Gonna burst open the dam, and now near side they'll have the kick.
It's a battle, and the Jets.
On the board.
Along the goal line, far side, kicked up in the air. Still up for grabs, one-on-one battle. They scrap for it. 22.5 minutes to play. 1-0 Newman. The Jets trying to complete a regular season sweep of the Riverhawks. Being held at the top between Fort Hays State and Rogers State, a pair of top 20 programs, and in the case of Hays, top 5. The Jets showed they're good enough to beat the Tigers. But can the Riverhawks show they're good enough to beat the Jets? This would be a regular season sweep with the loss. Easier said than done. Tonight is a showcase. And another nice piece of work getting against the Jets after they scored roughly 6 minutes ago. Northeastern State kicking down the pitch. The Jets offense they've got to defend against. Jets will make a substitution. Over Southern Naz for a match that started 30 minutes before ours. We're actually pretty close to them on time. Up in the air and in. Ethan Van Dusen on the board. The equal. Northeastern, they get it back. Can they push? Far side, edge of the box. And now they rotate around it. Where both sides, I mean, they're going to look for any inch they can get, any whistle they can get. And, I mean, we've already gotten accustomed to a lot of whistles tonight. You're going to get a few more of them, I'm pretty sure of that. A tightly governed contest. The other night it was well officiated, perhaps till the very end, and then there was a missed handball against Rogers State that took us out of the match. It was our last chance to push for a win. Here's Swinmayor. Kick ahead. No, he runs out of room. Kicks inside. NSU, is there a chance? And no. On number 9 in the red shirt. The clock will stop for that substitution since it is an even score. The only way that would not be the case is if NSU happened to snag away possession and take the lead. Clock does not stop for the team trailing inside of the final 15. NSU, brisk pace. They push across the pitch into the box. NSU, is there an opportunity? And no. Deflected. Martinez. He'll take the field for Northeastern late. And why not give it to a guy who could be a closer for your offense? Because Martinez something to that Ouachita Baptist coaching staff. Goodness gracious. When it came time for us to play them, we handled them 2 times, but the Tigers, what a win for them. And so Northeastern State, the big story, the big takeaway. I've talked about Southern Nazarene, but for NSU, regardless of what happens tonight, they will be playing in the Great American MIAA postseason tournament for the first time since 2023. These guys on the pitch don't know that. So they're still playing as if their season hangs in the balance. Under 5 minutes to go and going right down to the wire. The loser of this one would presumably have Fort Hays State in the opening round.
Jets roll around the box. The kick.
Marine, a program that's been in the top 25 orbit. You could argue they've been on the cusp of regionally elite status.